And welcome, my name is James Dearsley here on behalf of What House, and you're here joining me with our latest of our one-to-one interviews. And today I'm being very kindly joined by Nikki Gibbard, a development executive from a Helical Bar, here to talk about their latest new development, which is a bit of a sort of a break from the norm, and it's called Barts Square. Nikki, thank you for joining me, and tell me, this is quite a move for you. Why the move into the resi space? What's happened there?
It is a new project for us. We have done resi before, and we will do resi again. But as a company, we've always been very much site specific. So we choose what we do with the sites depending on what the site offers. So the way it all came about was we were developing 200 Aldersgate on behalf of a bank, which is right next door to the site Barts Square. And one of our agents said, "Did you know that the site behind 200 is coming up for sale? It would be the perfect resi conversion." And we thought, no, it's going to be total rubbish. But we thought, we'll go and have a look because we quite like this agent. So we had a little wander around, and the minute that we got into the space, we just thought, wow, fantastic. Because you can go and walk around there now, and it's like a world away. So it's right in the heart of the city, and yet it feels like this tranquil enclave all of its own. There's heaps of history there. And so the minute we saw it, we thought, we have to buy this. We absolutely have to have it. Yeah. So we did, and like I say, we very much tailor our developments to suit the space and the area that we've got. So we just felt that it was perfect for residential. There's not the opportunity
to pick up on that point, because I think one of the really things which is interesting for those of you who are not necessarily familiar with exactly where this is. I mean, this is in the heart of the city, the heart of the square mile, which basically, I mean, you don't get many residential developments around there anyway, do you? So I mean, this is a bit unique anyway.
Absolutely, it's a total one-off opportunity for us because, like you say, there's currently, I think, about 7,500 residences in the city. And when I say city, we're talking square mile. And the city corporation have said that they are unlikely to ever permit more than about 12,000, purely because the city just isn't set up to cope with residential. So there's not the residential infrastructure in place, and also because it's important that the city does remain a real centre of commerce and keep our status as a real global city. That said, there are these little pockets like Barts Square where they are happy to permit a small amount of residential. So for us, it's a 3.2-acre site, so having the opportunity to develop that quantum of residential in this area is just unbelievable for us.
No, totally. I mean, it's that whole supply-demand issue, isn't it? When you can only build, in theory, 12,000 odd residential spaces, I mean, there's already that pent-up demand there because of that reason alone. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen here so people at home who are watching this can actually look at your website. This is the website for it, which is, if I'm correct, bartssquare.com.
That's right.
I'm just here looking at it, and maybe if you can just sort of talk us through. So I'm just going to, in fact, because we just talked about the location, I'm just going to bring up the location tab. I hope can you see this, Nikki? Just
yeah, I've got you there.
Okay, so here we are. It's this big arrow, isn't it?
That's right. So you can see it's literally sat right in the middle of, we're near to St. Paul's. Oh, yeah, that's it. Excellent. So that's another thing about the site, is just its connectivity is absolutely unrivaled, because whilst you've got all this history and it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere, you've actually got Barbican, as you can see, which is about 2 minutes away. St. Paul's Tube, which connects you obviously to the Central Line, is about 3 minutes away. You've got City Thameslink, Farringdon and Moorgate. They're all in under 5 minutes walk. And then the best thing really is that we've got Farringdon East Crossrail, which is where the arrow for Barts is. It's literally pretty much at the top of that arrow where the Farringdon East Crossrail station is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that little red blob up there.
Connections are one of the most important points of these new developments. I mean, a lot of people sort of miss the point where they might build a development slightly out of it. I mean, this is right in the heart of everything. I mean, you've got quite Smithfield Market, one of my favourite places in the world to go, right behind you as well. I mean, this is
absolutely. And you've got everything going on in Clerkenwell, all the restaurants up Cowcross Street and St John Street, and then obviously you can walk to work if you work in the city. And if you work in the West End, it's about 10 minutes at the moment, and it will be 9 minutes on Crossrail to Bond Street when that's all up and running. And then the final thing with connectivity really is for some of our international purchasers, it's the only Crossrail station that's going to have direct links to 3 of London's airports. So it means that you could get off at Heathrow and within about half an hour literally be at home, which is quite different to how it is now, because now you have to go all around the houses, especially to get to this neck of the woods.
Exactly. Well, let's see while we're here, because obviously what we don't want to do is make this too long for people to switch off. But what I want to do is let's just have a look, because obviously Barts Square, it's an accumulation of different buildings. So I've just clicked on here to the apartments. Maybe you can just tell us sort of briefly that you've got, what's it, 4 or 5 different houses? I think it's 4.
We've got 4 houses in phase 1 that you're scrolling over at the moment. So basically, like I said, there was a lot of inherent history and some really good existing architecture in the site when we bought it. So we've kept everything that's good and just taken down everything that wasn't good, really, and everything that was beyond its useful life. So you can see in the bottom there, Hogarth House, which is these beautiful London stock buildings behind which we're doing. That's it there, yeah. So new build behind retained facades. So it means that you get all the character of sort of character London apartments, yet you've got the quality of new build behind. And then if you just pop onto Askew as well, the Askew building's my total favourite because I think it really embodies the character of the area. So there you can see it's very much warehouse style loft living. You've got the glazed bricks and the terracotta green banding across it, which is just all in reference to what's there already. You've got these beautiful crystal style floor to ceiling windows. And the different thing about Barts to a lot of new build is that we have got all these different styles of architecture all in one scheme. So when purchasers are buying our flats, they're really getting something very different from their neighbours. And the final thing on that really is that we stuck very much within the existing massing and footprint of the buildings that are there. So that's meant it's been quite challenging designing all the layouts of the flats because in the first 92, which we've released, there's about 45 different apartment types. So when you're buying, you're really getting something that is a 1 or a 2 off, which has been something that our purchasers have really liked because they feel like they're buying something with character, and also then if they want to rent it out, they're not competing against 10, 20, 100 of the other same types of flats. They've only got 1 or none really to compete with.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, it's one of the tricks, isn't it, out there at the moment with this sort of new build development, especially if you're buying on a buy-to-let investor side of things, is actually to have that uniqueness because that's what sells. This is ultimately the key to new build development, and it's why I think we're seeing so many developers out there at the moment varying their builds in such a way. And you've got this uniqueness of the location with those 4 different styles, which I think you must be applauded really from Barts Square perspective. But one of the final questions I want to really focus on is around planning of a neighbourhood, because a lot of criticism is put to developers at the moment, which is they just simply build a development and they sell it. And I think one of the things which I've heard is quite unique about this from what Helical Bar have done here is they're building an area, they're building an environment around it. I wonder if you can just sort of focus on that for a little bit for me.
Yeah, absolutely. We started off by saying it was quite a move away for us as a company. So this scheme isn't just residential. There's 2, in fact, there's 3 now office buildings within the scheme as well. So that creates life in the daytime as well as during the evening. And then you've got the residential. Similarly, we're doing lots of retail at ground floor level, similar to that which we've done at the Bow, which is one of our office schemes on Old Street Roundabout. And there we're targeting very much independent retailers. We don't ascribe a great deal of capital value to the retail units, which gives us the flexibility to be able to target interesting and exciting operators that bring something back to the scheme. And then also we're spending over £7 million on the landscaping at Barts Square, just because it was such an amazing site. We just felt that it really deserved to be treated properly. So it needed proper investment in the landscaping, proper investment in the architecture, so that, like you say, we're not just coming along and plonking a homogeneous new build block in the middle of an amazing area. We're actually creating the area at the same time. And we're working with landscape architects Grace Max, and they've also been engaged by the city to develop up the wider West Smithfield area strategy, which means that the part of Barts Square knits perfectly into everything that's going on to improve the surrounding area. So it is about creating its workspace, it's space to live, it's space to eat and drink, space to get your shirt dry cleaned, to buy your sandwich on the way to work. So it'll be a whole proper community that looks beautiful and is functional and works.
So it sounds, I mean, hopefully, and excuse this, it sounds like you're going to be the heartbeat of the city, literally, because you're going to bring life to that area, which is fantastic. And certainly, I mean, to finish off, I mean, you mentioned earlier it's a 3.2 acre site. I think, if I'm correct, you said you've got 236 units. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. So
it's a collection there. And if I'm also correct, I think you've sold an awful lot already, and you're starting to release a few more. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes, we've launched 92, of which we've sold 65, and then we're just working out exactly when we're going to do the next release. So that'll be probably at some point this year. And there's a really great range of units in those 2 buildings.
And have we got any sneak pieces, sort of information on prices on that, or can you delve into that yet? Or
not quite yet, but there's some really good. There's some 1s and 2 beds in those 2 buildings that are coming up. So we think that will be quite appealing to the people who maybe do work in the city, who want somewhere as their pied à terre, or for investors as well. It's quite friendly investor stock, whereas in our existing, we are mostly UK owner occupiers, people who are buying to live, because they are beautiful apartments to actually come and live in.
Fantastic. All right, well, Nick, let's stop on that there. But, you know, commitments to you guys and Helical Bar, I think that's a fantastic job. And, I mean, what a site. I mean, that is genuinely an exciting site for anybody to look at. So for any more information that you guys might want, if you've been watching this video, do go to bartssquare.com. Alternatively, obviously, you can watch all of this sort of coming out. I'm sure there'll be more releases of information through the What House site, which is whathouse.com. So, Nikki, thank you for joining us on this one-to-one interview with What House once more. Thank you so much.
Thanks.